When I first enter a classroom to do a teacher observation, whether it's an informal or a formal, I use my iPad to set up for the observation very quickly. The first thing I do is go to Dropbox because that's where I have saved the document that I will use for the observation. You can see all of my files over here of the documents that I have saved that I might be able to use for any reason, observations or anything else that I'm doing that I would like to have on my iPad. Notice that they are all in PDF format. That's what's necessary in order to use the Note-Taker app that I have selected, the Note-Taker HD. So I have the document here that I'm going to use, and this is just the CITE document, the new teacher standards, and I am going to do some teacher observation related to those. So I'm going to push that out into my Note-Taker program. And it's just asking me where I would like to store that. So I can choose a folder. I can rename it. So in this, I might just name this as example, but normally I would name it the teacher's first and last name and the date so that when I have those stored, they're easy to find. And it goes ahead and opens the document into the Note-Taker program. So I have several options at this point. I can write directly on the document. I can zoom in so that there is a better box in order to write. So it allows me to write down here. And it shows up exactly where I want it up above. There are a variety of different options for colors and thicknesses of the pen, a variety of options for highlighting different areas. So what this allows you to do is to take a PDF document and layer it with either writing, highlighting, pictures, graphics, whatever you need to, and then it just saves it as one document. It's really a handy tool. So, if you choose to do typed text, you certainly can do that instead. If you have an area of the page, for example, maybe some comments down below that you would like to do typing, all you have to do is drag down a text box and begin typing here. And then it is kind of nice because then you can drag around the text box wherever you need for it to be in your document. So you have the option of doing typing, you have the option of doing handwriting. On this Note-Taker program, it's kind of nice because once you have all of the pages that you want in your document, you can still add a page. So all I do is go up to a plus sign here. Yes, I want to create another page. And for those of you that like to script some notes or just take some general notes in addition to any walkthrough form that you might have or observation form that you might have, I know I always like to just script some notes, so it adds another page for you there. This is where I often will add those graphics that we were talking about earlier. So in order to add a graphic, I would just come up to Mode and go to my images. And I have two options at this point. I can go photo from camera and walk around the classroom, and you can see the floor of my office right now. But I can walk around the classroom and just see any or take any picture that I want. The nice part about this is the kids generally don't even realize that I'm taking pictures. So talk about subtle. It does not disrupt the educational environment at all. It makes no distraction. Kids don't even know you're doing it. So you can take a picture directly like that. Or, like we talked about earlier, if you want to use a graphic, you can also do that. So I'm going to choose from photos, and I'm going to go to my camera roll here because I know my graphic is down here that I want to use. So I might just have the Bloom's Digital Taxonomy right here because the lesson that's going on in the classroom really fits with this. And then I can absolutely take other pictures. I can go around and take pictures and put it on top of this graphic. I can go back up to my mode and choose to write directly on here. So for example, if the lesson is really focused here and you want the teacher to realize that, or any kind of notes that you want to make, that you want to emphasize the teacher needs to look more at the higher end of the spectrum for higher order thinking skills. You can also go around and add images of kids that might be participating in one part of the Bloom's digital taxonomy. So, for example, I know that from before I have some pictures of some kids that were working really hard on some technology and collaborating on a project. So I might go ahead and add that right in right there so the teacher can see exactly where the kids are in relation to this graphic. I've had some great feedback from teachers about inserting graphics in their observations because it really gives them something to hold on to and something to reflect on, which is a really nice thing for them to have, to be able to really understand where you're coming from and what kind of feedback you want to give them. So you can write all over this. When you're finished, the nice part about using the iPad is I can just go ahead and email the document directly to the teacher before I even leave their classroom. So I don't have to worry about anything else. You can also notice here that, if you can see it clearly, that these are time-stamped. So all of those documents that we have to to fill out to say when we were in classrooms and how often we were in classrooms, you've got them right here in your file and they're already time-stamped for you, which makes it very convenient. So if you just want to email this directly to the teacher, all you do is select an output and you want to email it, and it automatically brings up your email program. You will notice that it will go to them exactly as a PDF so that they can open it right on their computer. And then one thing that I always do for myself is I go ahead and I email it to myself and I email it to the teacher, so I've got one on my laptop as well. Some districts use programs to upload different evaluation documents that may or may not be compatible with the iPad, so this just gives me one more place to store the document. And that is how I use my iPad for teacher observations.